Hey Vlogvedites, how is it going? I hope you're doing well. It is Monday, and back to work, back to lots of stuff. One of the things that I found interesting about now doing this gaming channel thing is there's so much footage that just has to be transcoded and exported and edited and blah blah blah. There's so much overhead to doing these gaming videos, and I'm not sure that I have necessarily the best computer to handle all of the file processing that's involved with that. I do want to take a quick moment. Well, actually, first I should say there's going to be a fun announcement at the end of this video, so bear with me. But I do want to take a moment to acknowledge Kojo's response to my response to his response to my original kind of vlog. So he brought up 3 issues. We've kind of been going back and forth on a few things, and I just want to clarify. Honestly, mostly small clarifications. The first one being the whole idea of a mischaracterization of justice with the Trayvon Martin case, or not a miscarriage rather, not a mischaracterization. Right, and I just want to say I think we're both in agreement on this, and it's just a matter of semantics. That if we say justice wasn't, it's not necessarily that the due process of the law wasn't followed, but that it does seem unnatural that you can kill a person, and yet there's no penalty for that, regardless of the circumstances. Now, according to his testimony, which has been corroborated by evidence, and there's not an alternative story that has evidence behind it, he was George Zimmerman had his head smashed against the pavement, was basically blinded and choking on his own blood, and had a gun and fired it. So the idea that he could have fired it in a non-lethal way, I think, I mean, I would love to see a situation where that's viable, but I think perhaps it's not an issue of saying that someone has the right to use lethal force, but that if they are defending themselves in that sort of situation, I mean, I would very much have liked him to incapacitate Trayvon Martin in a non-lethal way, but that if someone is defending themselves in that situation, they're not going to be prosecuted for failing to almost, I guess, accidental, not even accidental homicide. I mean, because you shoot a gun at somebody, but if you intend to shoot somebody in the leg while they are actively attacking you, and you end up actually killing them, that you are not liable for that sort of crime. And I honestly have no idea. I'm not a gun fan, and I wish that our concealed carries were of the non-lethal variety of defense weapons. But I mean, it's not up to me right now, because the laws are the way that they are, and it's going to take a considerable amount of time to change them. So I'm interested to see where the U.S. is when the baby boomers start to pass away, because I think the overall political culture is going to shift pretty drastically. And obviously, this is all if you believe George Zimmerman's testimony and blah blah blah, and I don't know. I'm very aware that I don't know. The third point that you raised, I'm going to address these out of order, is the idea of trying to balance 2 different cultures: the culture that you emigrated from and the culture that you find yourself in now. And I want to clarify that when I was making the comment yesterday, I was not trying to say that is not a factor at all. My only point was that it is not something that is unique to a particular race. It certainly, as you pointed out, is something that first-generation immigrants and second-generation immigrants deal with quite a lot, having families spread out all over the place, and different cultural backgrounds and traditions. And I certainly empathize with that. And as you rightly pointed out, I have really no connection to Germany and Ireland. What is this fly doing? I personally, because I'm so many generations down, that I'm pretty much American. But if I were a first-generation immigrant from a particular country, I don't. All my point is that it would have been politically incorrect for me to respond to the professor talking about how only African Americans deal with this. I think you could make the case that only first through third generation deal with this, or insert some arbitrary value as you like. But to say that it's confined to an individual race is the thing that I kind of object to, but would feel very uncomfortable challenging. And the second point that you brought up, okay, and I'm liking now. And I watched the video, again, right before doing this. Oh, affirmative action. I certainly can understand the idea of wanting to get rid of inequity quicker. And it's an issue that I find really difficult and challenging to evaluate, because I can see that when there is cultural inequity, we should do what we can to fix it. My problem with things like affirmative action, when we have quotas for certain ethnicities getting into a particular college, just as an example, is that if a white student, or basically any ethnicity, some individual who has studied very hard and who's quite competent and able and has quite rightly deserves acceptance into a particular university, can be denied that in favor of someone who may not have worked as hard, might have, but might not have, may or may not be as deserving, but simply to meet that quota. So what we have there is not just a matter of trying to deal with cultural issues of poverty and just general lack of education that stems from cultural bias and that sort of thing. It's not just a matter of trying to raise that group up, but it's also an extent to bringing individuals who are not part of that majority down, and I don't know that that's the way that I want to see cultural racism fixed. And maybe that's just being in the position of the privileged class. I would like us to bring lots of people up, but not at the expense of people who are already up. People can feel perfectly free to question my own opinion on this, because I'm in the privileged class, and so it's hard for me to say, well, yeah, I should sometimes be denied acceptance into university if I try really hard, because we want to be fair and balanced. Anyway, so that's where I kind of stand on it. There's also then the whole other issue, and I think this is something that differs based on what country you're in, but there's the issue of whether or not the government should be actively involved in social engineering and sort of legislating morality. I have in the past been kind of the mindset that morality and movements like this should be things that are privately funded, because I don't think that we should force anyone as a condition of the state to pay for or pay for things that they don't believe in, unless they are necessary for protecting individual rights. Okay, seriously. I'm going to pause real quick. Okay, so I haven't historically thought that it is the government's role to legislate issues of morality, and that really what is needed is very strong private nonprofit organizations, charities, and so forth that people can voluntarily contribute to, kind of under the assumption that people are good, and if we breed a culture of generosity and understanding that that the amount of funding that goes to these things could be at the same level or greater. Obviously, that's not the case now. If we suddenly decided to get rid of a lot of publicly funded institutions in the United States, we simply wouldn't have middle schools in some places. because there wouldn't be enough people that saw there was enough value to it, and it wouldn't be a thing. That said, I also look now and see private companies where accepting the terms of interacting with that company is almost compulsory. You are pretty much required to accept the terms of service of Google if you want to live in the modern world, which is interesting and fascinating. But it's also a case where Google basically gets to set the rules, and they have an awful lot of leeway in what they do because there is such a dependence there, and there is not representative. There's no representation on the part of us, the citizens of the nation of people who use Google, for example. So, perhaps it is better that a government-like body, which does have some form of representation, as direct or indirect as that may be, does run certain programs. And so that's something that I'm still very up in the air about, and I'm working through and trying to learn more and figure out. I will say, though, it's very hard looking at the inefficiency and poor decisions that have been made by our federal and state governments to say we should trust you to have the best intentions and the best information when determining policy on social and moral issues that are very significant. So anyway, I thought that was going to be a fairly quick response to those thoughts, but I haven't been doing much today to transition back into regular life stuff. I really do like having these sorts of conversations, and if other people want to leave video responses, I'm happy to respond. I really do love having this sort of interaction. I wish that YouTube was a bit more amenable to longer form comments and responses and that sort of thing. But okay, announcement time. I will be going to somewhere in the city. I know I said that I wasn't, but I am now, as in I bought the plane ticket. So I'm going to be there, let's see, I get in Friday morning and I'll be leaving Tuesday morning. So that'd be the 17th through the 21st, 22nd, on August 17th through the next Tuesday morning. So if you're in the area, you're going to the event, or just want to hang out, whatever it is, let me know. I would love to meet you guys. I mean, a lot of you guys are from, if not the UK, then the greater European Union. If you UKers don't mind being considered part of the European Union. And I'm really excited to hopefully get to see some, if not a lot of you. So yeah, it was a bit of an impulse decision because I thought I wasn't going to go because it is a big financial commitment. But then I was thinking, there have been 2 times in the past when I splurged and spent money on a trip that financially I probably shouldn't have, and both of those times were phenomenal decisions. The first one pretty much got me to the point where I could get the job I have today, and the second one got me to New York because I decided to visit New York, and it was awesome. So anyway, I am going to somewhere in the city. It's crazy. And I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.